Hey everybody, this is Dan. I'm coming to you live from the garage to give you a quick informational session on the virus Paramotor. I put together a video that's got some additional detailed information. I've also shared the weights of the Paramotor in various configurations, as well as some detailed pricing information. This is all US pricing. I am the official US dealer now for virus Paramotor. I'm really excited about that. And there's just one reason why I became the US dealer distributor for virus Paramotor. It's because I love this machine. I am impressed by it. It's fantastic. I want to share it with everybody who's interested in Paramotor. So, if you haven't seen the machine, I hung it up here in the garage. It's not really straight, but I hung it up so we can get a little bit of a better look at it. I've got a few videos on YouTube. There's also a couple of others from Dana and Mitch that you can look at, and you can get a lot of great views on the virus Paramotor. And there's also a lot of review information already out there. So I'm not going to go over everything again. I just wanted to get this video together and put it out there for just a couple of other details. The Aversport harness on this machine, I mentioned in another video that it only has the one pulley which you would use for your speed bar. We're working on maybe improving this particular feature, but you can see I've got my speed bar hung here. You can see I've got the first portion of the line run through this loop here. The second one goes through the pulley, and what I've done is I've added another pulley here, and I've just tied it with some paracord. And you can see it's a nice straight run up to the riser. This has worked very, very well for me. I haven't found one single drawback with it, and I really like it. So for me, I say this is a great solution to having another pulley that might have been located at a different location on the harness. Piece of cake, Lowe's, you can even get a much smaller one, but this is what they happen to have on the shelf. And I put one on the other side as well, of course. And that has really helped me out with speed bar. A lot of people ask me about my reserve parachute. This is a Sky Country 33 square shaped reserve. It is not the light version, it's the original version. It weighs 4-point-something pounds. You can see the bridle comes out here. It runs up the side. The harness has Velcro enclosure, and at the top it connects to the harness itself inside. So, if you were to deploy your reserve parachute, you will hang from these 2 points in the harness. Machine and all will be carried down on the reserve parachute. The Aversport harness does not have a side pocket reserve. That's another thing that we're talking to with Aversport to see if they might be able to incorporate that in future designs. Swing arms. These are the J-style hybrid swing arms. A lot of people ask me questions about them. Can I learn on J-style swing arms? When are the S-style arms or the Swan-style arms available? Let me quickly touch on that. These arms offer a lot of feedback. They offer a lot more dynamic type of movement on the Paramotor. For a new person, that may seem like something they should be afraid of, but in my opinion, I think it's fantastic. I want to feel what the wing is doing. I want to feel what the air currents are doing. I want to have that fantastic weight shiftability that these straps, these tall straps, give you when they're connected to this style of arm. I really like that. To me, I likened it to feedback that you get from the front end of a motorcycle when you're racing. You want to be able to feel that traction that you have available. This is the same concept. You want to feel what the wing is doing. This is a setup that's going to give it to you. I don't really think that it's that difficult to learn on this style of arm. If you're getting trained, the first thing that you want to do is understand your equipment. You're going to understand how the wing works. You're going to understand how to kite a wing. You're going to learn about weather. You're going to learn about all the things that come with powered paragliding, such as FAR 103, rules, regulations, and your equipment, of course. You're going to wear this equipment. You're going to kite the wing with the equipment. You're going to run with the equipment. You're going to become quite familiar and comfortable with it before you ever get in the air. So if this is what you learn on, or even if you don't learn on this and you buy this particular machine later, you're already going to have a feel and a confidence built up that this should not pose a problem for you. The S arms are under development, and we should see those within a few months. JIVCO states roughly 2 more months. Pricing, availability, all that, I really don't have any information on that yet. So what else can we talk about? The ATLs, a lot of people ask about the ATLs. If you look really close, you can see I have these zip tied. I drill a very small hole in 2 places on the ATLs, and I run a very small zip tie through that. And that guarantees me 2 things. When I trailer this on the back of my car, the ATLs don't have a tendency to move around as much, and they stay put. I don't lose them, which is very important. And the second thing is in flight, there's a significantly reduced chance that I'm going to lose anything and have it go through the prop. That's, absolutely something that you want to avoid, is anything going through your propeller. So already the design is inherent that these wouldn't go anywhere. I just take it one step further and guarantee myself a little more margin of safety. A lot of people ask about the fuel tank on this machine. You can see it is a top style fuel fill. It has a retained fuel cap. It's super easy to fill because obviously you don't have to bend down and find a cap that's buried below the engine in the frame. So it's quite handy up top. It's 11 liters, which is just shy of 3 gallons of fuel, 2.9 gallons of fuel. And I get roughly, I fly for 1.5 to 2 hours, and I have a little bit of fuel left in the bottom. Could I go a little bit further than that if I was, in eco mode? I could probably squeak 2 hours and 30 minutes out of it if I was really attempting to be efficient as possible. But that's all you're going to get out of about 11 liters. If you shut your engine off and you thermal and you do things like that, obviously you can extend that range. But 2.9 gallons of fuel will roughly get you 2.5 hours of flight time. If you want to be conservative, I would say anything less than 2 hours is a very, very safe number. 2-hour flight, that's a long flight. Unless you're going cross country, 2 hours is plenty of flight time. Some people would like to come back well before that. So I think it's adequately sized and it works out really well. The cooling shroud, I've had some questions about the cooling shroud. If you look really closely here, right in this area here, I had to trim the carbon fiber cooling shroud in this section right here with a Dremel because it would have interfered with the J-style arm, and it'll interfere with the S-style arm as well. It's a 10-minute job. If you want to make it absolutely perfect, which I tried to do, it might take you 20 minutes to sand it and make it look really nice. The cooling shroud is a fantastic add-on for the Vitorazzi motor. It helps cool the head temperature, and it looks good too. What else? Throttle assembly. This is a Vortex Aero throttle assembly. I put that on this machine. So, throttles are kind of a personal preference. You can get whatever throttle you'd like. Some people specify no throttle they'd like to put on their own. There's many different choices out there. This is what I happen to put on this machine. Push pins for the spars. I have never taken this machine apart after I assembled it, but push pins are right here. There's one on each side. You squeeze them and it compresses the spring and the spar slides out this way. Very simple to do. On the back side of the machine, you've got the capturing clamps. They're like little cams. And also the frame pieces here, you can see that they curve in and they go around this pin. And what that does is the pin captures the two halves of the hoop, and then the cam lock squeezes them down tight. I have not adjusted any of the 5 cam locks that I installed on the first day I assembled this machine. They have been absolutely movement free. It is an extremely well-designed way to assemble the cage, and I wouldn't change it. You can see if you look close, I've got this cage, the entire machine, I shouldn't say the cage, I have the entire machine being suspended by the cage. I don't know that I'd do that on other machines, but this thing is so strong that this hoop can take it. It is just robust, very well designed, 70-75 aluminum. It's got strength to spare. The Viterazzi engine, there are multiple choices of the Viterazzi engine. This is the Plus Dark dual start engine. Dual start because it has electric start and pull start, plus because it has a clutch. I really like a clutch. I think a clutch is an absolute fantastic safety feature. I would always opt for a clutch, in my opinion. If you want to save weight and that's super important to you, you can buy a Viterazzi engine that is a manual pull start and doesn't have a clutch, and you'll save quite a few pounds. It's all up to your personal preference and what you'd like to do. In my humble opinion, this machine is not heavy, and once you put this machine on, you will realize how well it carries itself on your back. Also, you're not going to wear this machine for an hour and run a marathon. You're going to lay your wing out, you're going to get ready to fly, you're going to strap this machine on, walk over to your wing, do a run up on your engine, and take off. That entire process of once you strap into the machine, run up the engine, and tie into your wing and take off should probably be less than 10 minutes total time if you were really taking your time. I made a video on that, and I think the entire length of the video was 17 minutes. And that's when I first got to the field. I unstrapped the machine and I warmed it up on the car carrier. I laid out my wing. I put the machine on my back. I started it, I ran it up, and I took off. I was taking my time. You can watch that video and you can see for yourself the amount of time that I wore this machine on my back was extremely minimal. That being the case, this thing could weigh an additional 50 pounds and I wouldn't have cared. So a lot of people put a lot of focus on weights on paramotors, and I think there is a place for that. If you're going to be running a lot, if you are not a strong person, if you think that you're going to land out and you're going to have to carry this machine for an hour, would it be great if it was lighter? Absolutely. But is this a deal breaker because this machine weighs roughly 20 pounds more than the lightest machine on the market? Absolutely not. I would put this machine up against anything in build quality. The CNC machined, highly engineered, expertly designed Virus Paramotor is far superior, in my opinion, than any paramotor that I've currently seen or I've personally owned. The attention to detail, the fit and finish, the overall quality, and the strength of this machine is worth every penny in extra weight that it carries. And on top of that, speaking of weight and price and things like that, this machine is actually relatively inexpensive compared to others that are on the market. So what I think you're getting here is an absolute fantastic bang for your buck. You're getting a high quality machine that is thoroughly engineered, and it's at an incredibly good price point. A couple other features down below. Now that this thing is up in the air, you can see the bottom of the fuel tank from this angle. And when you're in flight, like I said, I carry a mirror, and here's my mirror. And when you're in flight, you bring that mirror down and you can look at your fuel tank and you can see, how much fuel you've got. It's a very easy way to check your fuel level, and it takes just a second. I took off the little fuel monitoring gizmo gadget gauge that was there. I just wasn't having much luck with it, and I found that the $2 mirror on a retractable lanyard is exactly all you need. Do you even need to see your fuel level? Not really, if you know how much your machine burns in how much time. So when I go flying, I fill my tank about 7/8. I fill it up to this top spar. So I know that I can get a 2-hour flight maximum. So I watch my my flight instruments, and when I start getting into an hour and a half, hour and 35 minutes or so, I know that hey, I better start heading back if I'm really far away, and I'll definitely make sure I'm close enough to the field. So pretty simple. No big surprise there. I've been significantly impressed still with these connection points on the arms. Everybody should be familiar with these. This fantastic locking mechanism. I take these arms off, or I have taken them off quite a few times to get inside here, to apply zip ties, to check my relay that I've got in the back there. It just makes it so much easier when you can take something off and give yourself some additional room to work on it. That's a really great design, really like it a lot. The starter on this particular Viterazzi Moster Dual Start Plus Edition, you can see the label there. It's a 12-volt starter. I use a 14.8 volt LiPo battery, and that thing, you can see in my video, it starts this engine immediately. Within 2 seconds of pushing the button, the engine is running. This protector for the fuel tank gives it a nice look on the back end. These are available in I believe black and white now. You can see a couple pictures online where they're white color. Really like the white. Carbon looks good as well. And I think that's about all I wanted to cover on the Virus. You've seen the other videos, so please take the time to review them again if you've got any questions. And keep in mind that there's a lot of machines out there on the market. Do your research, make a wise decision, get what works best for you. Don't take everybody's word for it. Go out there, check them all out, look at them firsthand, do your research, compare what you need to compare, look for durability, reliability, availability of parts. All of those things factor into what's going to work best for you. So lots to consider, but hopefully these videos will help you out. And safe flying, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.